Zoro's swordsman tip of the day. A true swordsman can protect what he wants to protect, cut what he wants to cut, even if the one he wants to cut is God. Now, face me and... Oh god, I'm being electrocuted!
We've got 7 crew members here to have an adventure. Cross the Grand Line with you.
Woohoo!
We'll cross the Grand Line and have a grand time as we make our dreams come true.
Yeah.
We'll ride the knock-up stream to achieve our dreams. Together we watch season 3.
Yeah! Ba-da-ba-bow, start the show. Hello, fellow adventurers of the White Sea, and welcome to episode 58 of King of the What Now, a podcast where the three of us discuss the anime One Piece from the very beginning. I'm your host, Joel, captain of this ship, and also, I'm a young Shindorian child who will attack anyone, even an old man who is prostrated before me.
I'm Curtis. I am the co-host and a One Piece
Newbie?
novice. I was going to say novice, and I was like, wait, did I graduate yet? No, I didn't. That's right.
Soon, though, if we're on episode, 180.
Yeah. Also, I am a vengeful, wrathful god, and I have foreseen that there will only be 3 of us at the end of this ordeal. So it's a good thing there are already only 3 of us. Otherwise, one of us would have to die.
Looks like one of us is going to have... Looks like the cat's going to have to go. Goodbye, Podcat.
What if you count the cats? I'm Cat. I'm the ghost of the show, and I am just a real good dog. I'm a real good dog.
That's very confusing. You're a cat and you're a good dog?
It is very confusing.
She's feline on her mother's side, but she presents canine.
Oh my goodness. Before we get into the meat and potatoes, as Joel might say, of the episode, we got some news on Twitter. Funimation is doing an official version of our podcast.
Yes, this is true. It's true. They're going to be calling themselves One Piece at a Time, which is fantastic. That's actually the name I originally came up for this podcast. And then Catherine's like, you know what? This might be a better name. So thank you. You saved me the legal fight that would come from.
You're welcome. Can you imagine getting into it with Funimation's lawyers? That would be interesting.
Oh, yeah, because we would, if it already existed on, that would have been interesting, yeah.
But anyway, They exist, and if you want more One Piece content, then go support them. Good for them. Good luck, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that each of us, because we've also have the Piece Together cast that we kind of compete against, but I would like to say that we have different flavors, us and them, and as of this recording, One Piece at a Time hasn't come out yet, so I don't know, but I'm going to assume that it's our voices that will kind of differentiate.
What flavor are we?
Damn it, you stole my question. Yeah.
We are green horchata.
I like that. I'm going to say Piece Together are cherry cola flavored.
Okay.
They just give really strong cherry cola vibes.
All right.
And then is One Piece at a Time Coca-Cola TM?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think they represent the corporate entity, so that's exactly it. And just remember, folks, no matter how many other podcasts you listen to, there is only one podcast that is officially sponsored by Plorgs Mablorb's Adventure of Plorf. Okay? That's going to be a thing. It's real. It's going to be in our ad segment.
But we will get to that ad segment in a moment.
Right. Curtis, can you tell our listeners what episodes we watched, and then can you summarize them?
I will try my best.
Okay.
Yeah, so we watched episodes 176 through 180. So 176 was Climb Giant Jack, and then 180 was Battle in the Ancient Ruins. So obviously all the ones in between too.
Upper Ruins.
Was it Upper Ruins?
Yes. Maybe. Hang on. You can consult the Wikipedia. No, it is Ancient Ruins.
Oh.
Yeah, because they fell down by that point.
Upper is what you sent me, so I was going off of your notes.
Okay, I don't know what to tell you. Apparently there's 2 Joels, one of who tells the truth and one who always lies.
Oh god, which Joel did I marry?
Oh no, if you married a liar and they vowed to always be there for you.
Well, then I must have married the truther, because here you are.
Joel, do you... No, I don't remember how to solve this
Do I
riddle.
believe in magic? No, you ask them if they're the one who always tells the truth, because the liar would say... Or no... Point to the one who always tells the truth.
But I don't have one of you here. So how do I?
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry I could not yes and that segment.
That's okay. And I will begin my summary
Perfect.
now.
Not then.
Not then.
Okay.
Now. I've done something a little bit different here. So these are not chronological in terms of the episodes.
How dare you?
I tried to kind of like mesh the 5 episodes together. They're still generally chronological in terms of what happened. So, all right.
So we can find the YouTube mix, is what you're telling me. We can watch like an episode that's like a clip show and it kind of goes out of order, and then there's like special effects and.
This is a lot of really good banter. I'm digging it. Curtis, what is the succinct summary?
All right. So we got Conus and Pagaya guarding the Going Merry. While also playing music very loudly and annoying the neighbors, and they leave a small fox on guard duty.
Hey, turn that down! Hey, screw you, man! It's not curfew time yet! I'm the guy, I do what I want!
I mean, once you get old enough, it doesn't matter anymore. So, Ohm's iron ordeal begins in earnest. It's a free-for-all. And Zoro and Gonfall initially are focused on trying to attack Ohm, while Wyper is attacking anything that moves, including crumbling ruins that look at him funny. During the fighting, Zoro finds Chopper unconscious and also learns where the Iron Ordeal gets its name, from the Iron Clouds, which are clouds that are as light as clouds, but as strong as iron.
Best of both worlds, I guess.
They can take different shapes. Ohm's sword is made out of it, so it does all kinds of fun stuff. A large dome of barbed iron clouds form over the battle area.
That's his true Bankai. I'm sorry. That's his true or Iron Ordeal.
Yes.
What is a Bankai?
It's a second release. It's compared to, I don't remember what the first one's called.
Shikai.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I know more about Bleach than Joel. I win.
Is it? You can use that to make clothes white, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Or hair orange.
Oh, well, that's fun.
It's also about ninjas protecting the hidden valley of the leaf. And then they become the next
So his Twitter account is at Cotwin, and you can send all of your angry messages to him.
Yes, and you can definitely tell that I definitely know that Bleach is not about ninjas. It's about food dishes that come to life and fight like Pokemon.
And Dumbledore is the guy with the hobbits?
Yes. This joke is very funny and should continue for the next hour.
Yes, but instead we're going to do this now. So the iron barbed cloud thing is now over the battle area. There we have Shandians and divine warriors dropping like flies everywhere. Wyper is briefly distracted when Loki reaches the upper ruins. Eneru then finds her and kills her in front of Wyper, who is trapped in the ordeal still, and he can't do anything about it. Meanwhile, Nami and Aiza are trying to outrun some divine warriors who are chasing them into the upper ruins. They end up where the Iron Ordeal is taking place. Wyper tries to save Aiza by shooting Nami. And also Aiza? I'm a little confused on that. With his bazooka, but Gonfall rescues them, only to be immediately eaten by the giant snake.
That's the only way that Gonfall could have kept them safe. He knew that Ohm wouldn't be attacking. Wyper is clearly a loose cannon. He doesn't know anything about these blue sea people, so just yeet into the snake's mouth.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think that Wyper was trying to kill Aiza, obviously, but I think he said something like, "Get out of the way," right before he fired, so I think he expected that to be enough time for this little child to react.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about Wyper. He said that if you were going to fight with him, you needed to be willing to step over the bodies of your fallen comrades and keep going. So shooting at that moment was necessary, and if Aiza had been hit, I don't think he would have cared. I think he would have just continued on.
He would have found a way to blame it on someone else. He would have looked at Luffy. "You son of a gun, you did this to me!"
And also realizing that probably all took place before the dome formed.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's the only way that would make sense. So back inside the dome, wait, let me make sure. Yeah, okay. Back inside the dome, Zoro and Wyper both go to take on the snake, who has eaten their friends. But Zoro is caught in a fight with Ohm instead. Inside the snake, Nami and Gonfall and Aiza find Luffy and break the news to him that he's been ate.
it's such a good scene because he goes, wait, Nami, I thought you said you got eaten by a snake. And she's like, yes. And he goes, but I'm not in a snake. I'm in a cave. So how'd you get here? Luffy, this is the snake.
Yeah, Gonfall makes a comment. It's like, he's your captain? Sure.
I really thought they almost overdid Luffy's stupidity in these episodes. Especially when he was crying when he showed up. With Nami and Gonfall and them. Like, Luffy, this isn't you.
Yeah, I agree. So Gonfall also takes this opportunity to apologize to Aiza on behalf of all Skypians for what they have done to the Shandians. Back outside, Zoro takes on Ohm, finally landing a blow with his new, more powerful technique, the 108 caliber Phoenix.
Absolutely. Level up.
Yep, and Ohm never stood a chance.
Nope, not even a little bit.
Down in the ruins of Shandora, Robin talks to Eneru and realizes that the Golden Bell is what made the island sing when it first arrived in Skypiea. Eneru also shows a lot of interest in gold in that scene, including the Golden Bell. Back at the shore by the Going Merry, a random worker who used to work for Gonfall in the Divine
Squad, I think?
Squad, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So this is not a goat person. This is a regular angel sky person.
Yes, there was some confusion about this last episode. I was very incorrect. That's all we need to say on that.
But now we all know what's going on. That's all that matters. Mm-hmm. So the ex-Divine Squad member tells Konis and Bagaya Eneru's true plan. He is going to send all of Skypiea to the Blue Sea and stay above and using his skyship and be up there by himself.
The Arc Maxim.
Yes. Eneru senses that his plan is being revealed and uses his powers to smite the worker and Pagaya. Konis is saved by her father, Pagaya, who...
I'm sorry, Pagaya.
Pagaya, her father.
Her father.
Her father, who is Pagaya, and a man named Pagaya, who happens to be her father.
Her. Konis.
Just in case there's someone forgot in the last, I don't know. I don't know the last time I established their relationship.
Now on, Konis' dad will be remembered as the papaya fruit.
Here's the thing. We've been talking about Pagaya as Konis' father, but that's actually a mistranslation. The original is daddy. They are in a committed relationship.
I think you're joking with me.
The fact that you weren't sure is just amazing. That's incredible. I don't think anyone in the show was ever referred to as daddy, except for Daddy Masterson.
And he wasn't daddy in a sexual way. He was just daddy in a regular daddy way.
He wasn't daddy in a sexual... Did I get the bootleg DVDs again? Did I get something that I thought was the regular main canon of the series?
Episode 34, or Rule 34, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, so I hope I got that number right. That's not important right now.
It is Rule 34.
Okay.
And 43 is the gender swapped one.
Oh, that's fun. Okay, back to One Piece, not Bleach. One Piece. So Konis is saved when her father pushes her out of the way. After she's done weeping for a while, Konis rushes off to warn Skypiea that the end is nigh.
I hope that she doesn't miss it by just a couple of seconds, because wouldn't that be sad? Her sentimentality costs her more lives.
That would be. So if only I hadn't sat and mourned the loss of my wonderful father.
If only I had hated him like most teenagers.
So back in the upper ruins, Zoro tries to help Wyper kill the snake, but their attacks have no effect. The fight is cut short when Eneru destroys the upper ruins and punches a hole down to the ruins of Shandora. Zoro, Chopper, who is still unconscious, Wyper, and Sir Snakes-a-Lot fall down.
He is Lord of the Sky. Address him by his proper title. Thank you very much. He ate a lot of people to earn that.
I have at least one more nickname for him in here that I'm going to use. Okay. But yes, he is Lord of the Sky. As the snake falls, Nami and Gonfall escape from its stomach, but Luffy and Aiza remain behind because of Luffy's stupidity.
To be clear, he basically tried to grab onto the waver that Nami was using to escape, grabbed onto the wrong part, so when it sped off, he lost his grip, and Nami, being the competent person that she is, didn't check over her shoulder.
Yeah. Pierre, though, flies back in to get them, but it is still in the snake at this point. Outside, Snakey Poo is looking around the ruins and begins to cry, but stops when Eneru strikes him down with a giant lightning buzz.
Because that's what we need. We need a kick the puppy moment for a giant snake.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he was vicious and we didn't like him in every other episode until now, when it's like, oh, this must have been his home and he's sad because everybody's gone. And oh, now he's dead.
Also, he wasn't vicious. He was just doing what snakes do.
I mean, he did eat Nami, who is one of the cuter members of the main cast.
He was getting punched from the inside by a rubber man.
And yet again, we always blame Luffy. He's the cause of so much of the shit that happens to his crew. And he's lucky that he can make it up by punching the thing that he...
It makes you wonder if this pirate crew, let's say they formed without Luffy, if they would be an extremely competent pirate crew.
Interesting. Maybe.
No. Have you met Zoro and like Usopp and Chopper?
Okay, no, it's fair. It would... I mean, Nami was already in charge. Anyways, this is beside the point. So, after killing the snake, Eneru declares that there must only be 5 survivors at the end of the following 3 minutes for his prophecy to be true, and declares that one of them must die.
Because at this point, there's the 6. There's Eneru himself, Gonfall, Wyper, Robin and Nami, and Zoro.
Yes.
I thought Nami went, wait, 6? He doesn't know that I'm here. Or
No,
did
he
I...
went 5.
So he said there needs to be 5, and she goes, but there's 6 of us here. He must not have seen that I was here. But thankfully, not thankfully, Eneru has this tricky thing called mantra. So
Yeah.
So he figured it out. Okay, I'm all caught up now.
But Robin, Zoro, Wyper, and Gonfall all decide that it must be Eneru who dies.
earning their badass cards for sure.
But first, Eneru must monologue. He reveals his plan to the survivors to kill all the humans in the sky and to go forward to a world of endless verth. Gonfall attacks, and he's struck down, leaving only 5, just as Eneru foretold. Eneru then wants to take the 5 to the world of endless verth, but Robin refuses. She is zapped in the head. Zoro attacks in vengeance and with a lot of awesome choreography, but is stomped to the ground. Wyper attacks and uses his hidden sea prism stone to disable Eneru's power, and then uses reject. And at this point, Eneru might be dead. We don't know. That's where the episode ended, but it looked like he was dead.
He's on the ground. I mean, do you think that he is dead?
No, because Luffy has to come punch him.
Okay.
We have to have the rubber versus lightning duel.
Okay. I mean, that's entirely possible. What if Eneru set the island to explode on a timer, and so Wyper gets the KO, but Luffy is the one who has to save them all by grabbing every single person on the island like it's a goddamn video game. 96 people to save! I got one! 95 people left! I got another one!
You've got 2 seconds left.
There's one hidden behind the painting, and you have to move it in order to see them.
Wyper will win the game, but Luffy will get the snitch.
Perfect.
But that was my
Succinct
summary.
I will say, I don't know if I would call that one succinct, but it was neatly ordered. You didn't kind of jump around and
It certainly was a summary.
Yes. It was more succinct than watching the 5 episodes.
That is certainly true.
But there was a lot going on, and there wasn't all. I tried to cut out the details that weren't important.
That's fair.
And just leaving the ones that were important. And there were a lot that were important, I think.
It's true. I do want to add, this isn't really part of the succinct summary, but we did get confirmation of what happened to... So Gonfall had, I think, 650 followers in the Divine Squad that were captured by Eneru. Eneru gave an exact number. I don't remember what it was, but it was many. One of them escaped. The other 649, they're dust. He literally reduced them to nothing but dust. He made it very clear that they are dead. So, that's a thing.
Yep. That's why Gonfall was angry.
I mean, he was pissed.
But now he'd be dead too.
Yeah, he got hit with 20 million volt Vari, whatever Vari is, and we got another attack name from Eneru, and it was L4. That was the name of the attack he used to defeat the snake, I think. And oh my goodness.
I assume that was the name for his giant beam thing too.
It
Because
might
it looked
be.
very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Too bad he's dead, though.
Yeah, I mean, what an anticlimactic battle to have Wyper be the one to have taken him out.
Luffy wasn't even involved in it? That's weird.
Yeah, I know. And this is One Piece, and when people die, they're dead for good.
But Gaia and the Snake and Eneru and Wyper and Gonfall, we are never going to see them again except in flashbacks.
And also in Luffy and Aiza and...
Oh, yeah, because they're inside the snake,
Yeah.
which is dead now. Perfect.
and Pierre.
Ah, Pierre, the horse bird thing.
The monster. You're a monster too. No, I'm a pirate.
Did you notice when he turns into a horse, he goes, Pierre!
No, I didn't. Oh, that's so good.
I love that he's a Pokemon.
Yeah,
Like,
he only says his name.
Yep.
I know.
I want to know if he was named Pierre because that's what he says,
Or
or
if
if
he learned that one word.
Yeah.
Master gave me a name, so I'll learn it.
like parrots learn to mimic words. It could have been that.
Could you imagine if you named your pet and they learned the name? So you're just like, you're at home one day, and you're like, hey, Rocket, and you go, Rocket!
I don't know about you, but I always imagine it sounding more like rocket.
Yeah, I was going to say, like demonic, like, Rocket. Oh, God.
Yeah, before we get into any more, though, we need to make sure that we cover our world-famous ad segment. Ad segment time. So, Plorgs Mablorbs, he reached out to me after last week's episode, and he had a couple of notes. He liked the energy that we brought to the ad, but he's a little concerned that, we just play off of each other so much that we might lose sight of the actual content of the advertisement. So going forward, what he wants is he's going to give each of us an advance copy of the next several issues of this webcomic series. And he already has a publisher who's going to put the little, excerpt on the back of the book when they get printed in physical form, but he wants one of us each episode to kind of try to come up with our own, and he'll pick which one he likes better. Does he like the publisher's one, or does he like that one from one of us? He wants one of us to explain why a reader should be excited for this next volume of webcomics that are coming out. And then the third one to just kind of, this is what I liked, and here's something that I hope happens in the future. Kind of like prediction sort of thing.
Okay.
Does that make sense to everyone?
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like a mini King of the What Now book club.
Yeah, a little bit. So we got volume 2 of The Adventures of Blorf, and this time I think I'm going to be trying to do the excerpt on the back of the book. Returning from his exile from the 555th century, Blorf discovers that his entire town has been turned into carrots. So he must go on an adventure to discover what mysterious foe could have possibly have turned everything into carrots. And along the way, he'll learn truths about love and kindness and friendship and vengeance.
And hunger.
Will the darkness take over him? Will he be forced to feed upon the carrots of his hometown? Only one way to find out.
Wow, that makes me want to read this chapter all over again, honestly.
Sorry I interjected there. I just saw there was a little piece of carrot, because you really got into it and you were eating carrots while you were reading this. It was covering the word hunger, and I just wanted to make sure you didn't miss it.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So would one of you like to kind of hype up the readers for what's to come?
Oh, yeah, So after solving the mystery of the carrot fiasco, I believe what's coming up next is a fun adventure out on the prairie.
Okay.
Yeah, so Blorbsy, as I like to call him.
Okay, yeah, naturally.
He has explicitly asked us not to, but go on.
I mean, he doth protest too much.
You think he likes it? It's a cover? All
I
right.
think so.
So our good friend Mablorbs.
Yes. Hey, no, he's my Blorbs. He's not yo Blorbs. So Mablorbs is out on the prairie now. He's back in the good old days, because, I think we've established he can time travel.
Apparently, yes.
It seems like it. And he is going to experience the rough and tumble world of the American Old West in the only way that you could, really.
Of course.
As an accountant.
Oh, I see. Okay, yes, this will be his greatest challenge yet.
Yes.
He has to account for all of the numbers and then account for the murder.
He's actually an accountant turned actuary, and there's so many people dying
Okay.
that the life insurance company, it's a very complicated formula he has to solve. They're like, what are the odds you're going to die in the American Old West? Okay, well, there's the dysentery and the chance of attack.
This is really getting me hyped up for the next chapter.
You know, it's going to be amazing. It's lots and lots and lots of actuary tables.
Perfect.
All right, now, Catherine, why don't you bring us home with some of the themes and motifs from this section of chapters?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, as always, there's a very strong vibe of man versus machine in this chapter. I feel like Blorf's ongoing struggle is not only with the strange things happening in his world, but this idea of constructs replacing basic human labor. And he really had to struggle with this in this chapter. As always, there's the theme of family and friendships and the friends you make along the way. In this case, the friends were carrots, but you make do with what you have.
Of course. I mean, in the end, really what Blorf has taught us is that it's not what's on the outside that matters, it's what's deep down. So even though it might look like a carrot, these are living, sentient creatures with souls, and they deserve just as much empathy as the next person.
And really, in the end, all they want to do is love.
Absolutely.
Where can we find the next chapter of Blorf's adventures?
Yeah, so I think that's going to be hitting shelves. Well, not shelves. It's going to be going online in about a month. It appears that Plorbs Mablorbs kind of has manic episodes. I think he should probably look into that, but for better or for worse, he's going to release all of these chapters at once at a time of his choosing, sometime in the next month to 7 months. We're just going to have to tune in and find out. Just keep refreshing that website and click on all of those ads. It's like a little game.
In the meantime, folks, stay blorbin'.
And all right, now we're back to the regularly scheduled King of the What Now episodes. Curtis, how did you like these 5 episodes? As like a whole.
As a whole, there was a lot going on. Holy crap, there was a lot going on. Thus my overly large, succinct summary.
Are you okay?
No, overly large, succinct is just inherently funny. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Curtis.
That's okay. I mean, we all need a good laugh sometimes. Otherwise, no one would listen to our podcast.
I guess that's true.
Do people listen to us because they think we're funny?
That's the dream, isn't it?
I thought they listened to us because we were talking about One Piece.
Well, I mean, both, right?
Oh man, I'm finally vindicated. My jokes are funny. Okay.
I mean, I didn't say they're listening for your jokes.
There are 3 of us, so
Sorry,
if one of
that
us,
was mean.
Your jokes are great in my opinion, but mathematically, since there's 3 of us, so long as 2 of us are funny, the third one can just be a dud because that averages out.
So it's a good thing that you 2 are funny and you just pull me along.
We like
you're gonna
you,
watch
Curtis.
these episodes. You're gonna like them whether you want to or not.
No, don't make me. Can you take the tape off my eyelids?
But anyway, the episodes were a lot.
Oh yeah. I definitely liked them. I really, really at the very end, the fight scene, the fight scene, quote unquote, between Zoro and Eneru. It was really interesting the way they animated it. Like it wasn't like a normal, just like showing what the fight is. It was very dramatic and a little bit artsy.
A little dynamic, yeah.
Yeah, like they would just show like bits and pieces of like clips, and it was like a lot of implied movement. It was very good.
I suspect the reason they did that was limitations of technology at the time, but it has aged well. I like how they handled it.
But overall, like there's lots of good fight scenes, lots of good information. We learned a lot. We don't fully understand Eneru's plan right now.
Correct.
It's we generally know what's going on, which I have a couple questions about that we can get into later or whenever.
All right.
Later or whenever are synonyms.
Yes. Well, whenever could be now.
That's true.
Which wouldn't be later. Anyways, I guess let's just talk about it now if that's okay, unless
No,
you had a
yeah,
specific
absolutely.
time.
I had a question for you.
Oh yeah.
Did you have a favorite moment from these episodes?
I mean, other than the Zoro moment,
Sounds like you really liked
I think
I
it's,
like
it's
that
pretty
one.
clear that, like, we had to pick up pieces of Curtis. He was so excited. He, like, literally disassembled like a puppet.
Well, the problem is that there were a couple of cool Zoro moments.
Yeah, no. So the when he came up with his final attack against Ohm, that was okay. It's just the thing I liked about the last one is so Eneru shocks Robin, and Zoro goes over and catches her before she hits the ground, in a way that he doesn't cut himself with the swords that are out. And then there's this look on his face that just this black look, and then his eyes, his pupils are just white, and then the whole screen goes black except for the two white circles, and you see them move as he starts charging. It was really like dramatic the way they drew it.
It
Yeah.
was an excellently animated fight scene, and I believe that there was like a camera like rotation in there as like the perspective changed and all the other stuff. I believe we've touched on this before. I believe the most common straight pairing for Zoro is Zoro with Robin, and I believe that this is one episode that you could definitely use as fodder for that.
Yeah.
It was really funny. Joel leaned over during the Zoro Eneru stuff and he went, "You know why he didn't win? He wasn't wearing his headband."
He wasn't wearing the bandana, and he only had two swords out. That's
Wait,
why
did
he couldn't cut.
Did he take it off? I thought he had it on.
He did not.
No, he never put it on.
He put it on in the Iron Ore deal.
And then he took it off after. I don't
Okay,
know.
he must have. Yeah, because I remember there was a point when his goggles fall down and they break, or he takes them off and they break, and then he ties it real quick, and that's like right before his fight with Ohm. So
Joel, did you have a favorite moment from these episodes?
Oh man, I really liked. There was a lot of humor in these episodes. Sometimes the humor in One Piece is give or take in certain episodes, but in these ones, Luffy looking over and seeing a skeleton and thinking that it was Nami and be like, "Oh God, Nami, no!" Or like Aiza freaking out that both Luffy and this horse bird thing are freaks of nature and such. I really do like that moment right before the battle, which is even more impressive to me. It's Enru going, "All right, one of you has to be eliminated," and it's four of them. It's everyone but Nami going, "We choose you to die."
Oh man, that's definitely the highlight of these episodes for me as well. I am a sucker for all the characters say something in unison and it's badass. So
Yeah, well, and I really liked, we didn't quite get Zoro and Wyper teaming up. I kind of hoped that they were going to when they both had someone get eaten by the snake. I thought they were going to team up to take out the snake. But that moment, you had Gonfall, Wyper, and Zoro, who before then had been in kind of like a triangle, and now they're like, "Oh, we're all going to turn our sights on the same enemy."
yeah.
team ups in general are very good. Curtis, you said earlier you had a couple of questions.
About
Endless
And-
Birth, probably.
yeah. So Eneru's plan in general. So part of it I got figured out because initially the worker said he wants to bring all of Skypiea to the Blue Sea, and then later we find out he actually just wants to kill everybody in Skypiea, which is, I mean, I guess kind of equivalent. Like some of them might fall.
He wants to destroy the island, and then the pieces will fall to the Blue Sea.
Yeah. So the part that I was a little bit confused on, because he was ranting a little bit like a madman, and it was like, what? It was like the craziest we've seen him. And he was like, so he wants to kill all of the humans in the sky so
Yep.
that, because he thinks only God should be in the sky. Is that it? And then, so like, he is God and none of the other ones, no one else deserves to be there?
He thinks it's unnatural for there to be Verth in the sky.
Okay.
Yes.
And then he wants to go further into the sky with his sky ship
Yep.
and
Possibly.
go to a world of endless Verth,
Right.
which is
Just
the dream
Birth in
world.
every direction.
I'm just confused. Like there's some inherent like it's like I want to kill everybody up here because it's unnatural that. Okay, so I guess that makes sense. I misunderstood. I thought he didn't want them to be there because he's like, only I deserve to be up in the sky because it's God's home. But that's not it. He just thinks it's unnatural that there's Verth and people up there, and so he's going to kill them to get rid of them.
Yes.
Okay.
I do believe that he sees himself as the god that he proclaimed himself to be. Like when you said he went crazy, like that's the level of crazy he went, is I am God and I'm going to do these things. And when he killed or attacked Pagaya and the nameless person, he said that he was doing God's mercy because he was putting this suffering soul out of its suffering. And so I think that if you asked Eneru, if you're a real person and we got him on the podcast and we interviewed him, he would say that he's allowed to be wherever he wants because he's God. He's not a mortal man. These other people are.
Yeah.
It's also interesting that he was going to take the 5 finalists with him.
Yeah.
Because I guess that means that they'd chosen well. But also, if you think about it, he already had 4 priests, so he and his inner circle was 5 people, so he was basically saying, this is tryouts. Either my people are going to prove that they deserve the spots that they already have, or they're going to lose, I'm going to replace them with the people that beat the crap out of them.
And he did explicitly call his underlings worthless for having been defeated. So clearly, I think that was his intention, was to make sure he had the strongest people.
Yes.
Did they talk about? I feel like he briefly kind of hinted at where he was from, and then I don't know. It was like it was a very rambling, like, madman speech, and so I was having a hard time gleaning good information off it, especially because I was watching the subbed one for that one.
Right. So I believe that it has been explained that he came from another sky island.
Okay.
I believe. He said something about, like, the people from my place had this dream of endless Verth or fairy Verth. I've seen it translated both ways. And I'm willing to tell you that the place he came from was called Burka. So the people of that sky island are called Burkins, like the Skypians from this island that we're currently on.
And they have dragons that they're training. No, that's
Yes,
Burke.
that's Burke, and when I was a boy there were dragons, and when I was an old man there were dragon fruits.
So
You are great.
did someone from Burka marry someone from Stocks, and together they formed a company called Birkenstocks?
Yep.
Yeah, that's absolutely canon. Good job, you figured it out.
Okay, that's what I thought. I'm sorry, that was a really stupid joke. Let's continue.
Did you have another question, or was that the main one?
Those were the main ones. I was just having a hard time understanding what was going on with Eneru.
He wants to find a place where there's no sky and no water, and it's just Verth forever.
Isn't that just under the ground? Does he just want to get buried?
I don't believe so.
Because then there'd be endless Verth all around him.
That is one interpretation. You'll just have to wait and see.
He gets on this skyship, the Arc Maxim, and he just immediately sets it into a nosedive in order to go down as far into the ground as possible.
It took me 6
7
years?
years or something
7
like that?
years and 100-something, slaves to build this ship so that I could fall to the ground.
Can we all agree that the Arc Maxim is the coolest name for a skyship?
Yeah, I really
Yeah.
like that name.
I hope we get to see it. Because I'm like...
I mean, why would we? Eneru is dead.
I know. But you can't just name drop Arc Maxim and be like, but you're not going to see it.
I feel like if we did a sci-fi AU of One Piece, that would be a cool spaceship name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it
Arc
could
Maxim.
easily fit into. I think it's the hard k sound in arc and then the x in maxim. Like it's just that's very good, very cool. The Arc Maxim is actually, I hate to spoil this for you, Curtis, it's actually just a rowboat, and it can only fit the one person. So Eneru's gonna be like, you are my chosen! And then he'd show them the rowboat and be like, is this some kind of a joke? And then he'd just push them all and be like, ha ha!
The Arc Maxim is actually a flying manatee,
Okay.
and it just goes, Max.
Okay.
And then you have to reply, and then he moves. And then he says again, Max, and you have to keep doing that the entire time. Otherwise he stops.
Also, he carries you in his mouth. He goes, wow! He swallows you up and you get carried.
More Vore, I see.
Well, I'm just trying to make sure that Oda's dream of having every crew member eaten at some point in time comes to fruition.
This is the intro song to the Vore-cast.
Oh, goodness.
Food of the what now?
Welcome, listeners, and enter my tummy!
Oh no, it's wet in there.
Okay, this is going to a weird place now.
Implying it didn't start out in a weird place.
Good point.
Let's circle back. I'd say that these episodes are the ones that gave us the most Eneru screen time. We already had some flavorings of him, a little bit of Eneru seasoning, but now we're getting to the main dish. And how do you feel A, about his personality? because he certainly has a little bit more of a playful personality than Crocodile, the other major villain that we've seen so far. And then B, how threatening do you feel his power is?
He's nuts.
Yeah.
Like, he is the most unstable villain we've had so far. And not just because of his god complex, although that's part of it, but he's so almost manic when he talks that it's a little like, oh, you're a zealot for your own religion. That's unsettling.
Yeah. Like, I thought he was... So my initial impression of him was he is like a calm and calculating, and that he's putting on airs. And then as time goes on, you're like, oh, he actually believes all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's just like more and more obvious. And then like it peaked at the end there. And it's like, oh, he's just freaking crazy.
While we were watching the episodes, Joel paused at one point and was like, do you see that crazy face? And Eneru had one eye that was really big and one that was all little and his mouth was all wide open. It's like, okay, you are not like Crocodile or Kuro.
Mm-hmm. So here's another thing, too, that I find interesting. So Arlong had this whole thing about, oh, fishmen are superior, but eventually he got defeated by a human. And so he goes off to prison, and he probably is sitting there in his cell, and he probably goes, shit, are fishmen capable of losing to humans? Are humans capable of being better? Am I wrong? Kuro came up with all these complicated plans, and he got defeated by someone who just flies by the seat of his pants. He's just like, oh, God. Are plans not the only thing that you need? But Eneru's version of that conversation, if he were to get defeated by Luffy, if he somehow survives, or if he was defeated by Wyper, could you imagine him just sitting there? What if I'm not God? Like, that's the realization that he has, and he has to have a coming to terms moment.
What if that guy was God? and then our filler story that starts recurring is Eneru gathering people for the cult of Mugiwara.
Interesting. Mugiwara means Straw Hat, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I believe Mugi is straw, and then Wara is hat. I guess. So that's that's the Japanese term that a lot of people call Luffy by before they've met him.
That makes sense. Mm-hmm. What was I going to say?
Words, probably. This is a podcast.
What?
Yeah, about One Piece. So your words were probably going to be on topic.
I thought this was a silent film.
Some sort of visual medium. Interesting.
Okay.
This is clearly interpretive art.
Yes.
That's why I speak half of my words as garble speak, because then that way people can impress their own interpretations upon the global.
I was going to tell you to do it, but then you did.
Okay, it's going to be something about... We're still talking about Eneru. You asked about his power level, too. I was going to answer that.
Or, like, not necessarily power level, but, like, are you as impressed by his power as Nami seems to be, as Wyper seemed to be when he was, flashing around and such?
I was already pretty impressed with his power, and then Robin's reaction sealed the deal in terms of how impressed I was. Because Robin, first of all, they recognized what fruit it was. Wyper's like, oh, he must have the Rumble fruit, which obviously means that he gets to use the effects of a Rumble Ball all the time. Mm-hmm. No, it means he's made of lightning.
So yeah, you think that fruit that is known in the common vernacular has to be pretty powerful?
And not only that, Robin identifies it and says, I believe that's one of the ones that supposedly makes someone invincible.
Mm-hmm. Well, and so Smoker, Crocodile, Ace, and Eneru, all of their fruit belong to the Logia class. But Robin worked with Crocodile for I don't know how long, but a while. And so for her to have worked closely with Crocodile and seen what he could do, and then to be freaked out by Eneru clearly showcases.
Yeah, exactly. I also trust Robin's knowledge of stuff in general.
Yeah.
I actually did say when we were watching, I was like, wait a minute, she's seen Crocodile. What does she mean? She's never seen power like this before. So definitely a leap.
Yeah.
I also... Crocodile is scary. Don't get me wrong. He has connections. He's very good at manipulating people. He's not the sort of person that you would want to cross or to fail, if he gave you a mission. But he at least, until he started getting defeated, seemed pretty sane. Eneru's, batshit levels of crazy would also unnerve me. If I were a shonen protagonist and I had to fight him, I'd be a little like, oh, no, I don't know what this guy is going to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. Looking back on Skypiea before we started this arc, this saga, I was a little worried because when I was going through this the first time, this was actually probably my least favorite saga. But I do think that he is a good presence, a good antagonist, just because he can hit you from so far away, he can seem to predict his movements, and he has this weird god complex that I'm pretty sure only gets stronger the more people fall before him. Like, I'm sure at first it might have just been a title, but the longer he went without being physically hit by attacks and he could just kill people from across the island, he probably was like, you know what, yeah, this probably is a god power.
Mm-hmm.
Catherine, do you have any thoughts on Eneru as a villain?
No, I mean, I think we kind of covered all of my thoughts on him so far. He is a really cool bad guy, and I like that he is a departure from other bad guys that we've seen.
I like how agile he is. He does flips and stuff, and like he put Zoro's like head on the ground underneath his foot, and I don't know, Crocodile would probably do that, but just something about the way he's animated I really like. I don't like the reserved, like Crocodile and Arlong, ooh, all the pieces are in my board or whatever.
If I had my way for what he would be doing post-defeat, assuming he gets defeated, I would want him to be like in a circus, like tightrope walking and doing flips and performing.
Okay. So I think that covers everything about Eneru. But now we get to play one of our favorite segments. We've now seen all 4 of Eneru's priests and their fighting abilities at their best, at their worst, when they were defeated, when they were winning. So, how many Bellamy's can each of the 4 priests take in a fight?
Okay, so I'm going to say right now, 500 Bellamy's.
Okay.
Okay, that's fair. What was the Lance guy?
Shura.
I feel like I think he's the weakest. No, he's the second weakest.
Satori's the weakest,
Yeah,
right?
I forgot about Satori.
I mean, if you're going by percentages, Gidatsu's the weakest with 50%. Satori was 10%. Shura's actually second strongest at 7%. He just got taken out because he got hit point blank with a rejectile. But there aren't very many people that can get up after being hit by something like that.
I would say, okay, so Satori is like 1/4 or 1/10 of a Bellamy.
Oh, really? You don't even want to give him a full Bellamy?
No.
Okay.
No, I think Bellamy could take on many Satoris.
Okay.
And okay, so here's another question. How much time do the priests have to prepare? And I love that meme, but also Shura can set up his strings, and if Bellamy didn't know about the strings, he would just tear Bellamy to shreds.
Right. Well, and Bellamy's whole thing is bouncing. So if he's trying to go down against Satori, what happens when he bounces all into all the surprise balls?
And what happens when he's bouncing around in Ohm's whatever, and barbed wires are coming out. So I don't know. It's one of those weird things where I don't think Bellamy is physically stronger than, I mean, he's probably stronger than Satori. Satori looks like he eats too much, dough or whatever and doesn't have any physical strength. But against Ohm and Shura, I think Bellamy would have a hard time.
I do like how Bellamy and Eneru showed up kind of concurrently, and they're both the same sort of unhinged bad guy.
Oh no, the Grand Line has nothing but a bunch of crazy weirdos. That's why Luffy's been able to survive for so long, because he himself is a weirdo, and common sense cannot thrive.
He's not a crazy weirdo, he's a pirate.
Oh, I like how, so there's the scene when Luffy is getting on the back. His
love.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
He's getting on the back of Pierre. And so Pierre just changed, and I was just freaking out because, like, what the heck? Why did this horse just change shape? Or this bird just change into a horse? And then Luffy stretches his arms and gets up there, and she's like, "What are you?" He's like, "Well, I had the gum fruit, and like I am a rubber man now." Then after that, she says, "What are you?" And she goes, "I'm a pirate."
Yep. She goes, "You're both freaks of nature." And he goes, "No, I'm a pirate." And that just made me and Catherine laugh so hard because you can be both weird and a pirate. Have you met Buggy?
Buggy was weird?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Who would you guys say is the weirdest pirate we've encountered so far? Would you say Buggy?
Depends on how you define weird. I think in terms of like flamboyance, Buggy and Eneru are about the same.
But is Eneru a pirate?
Oh, I guess I don't know if he technically does count as a pirate.
I would say bodily weirdness. Because
Buggy.
that's what
Buggy's
Isa
weirder.
was commenting on.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree.
I mean, and then also Buggy and Eneru both have that, like, Eneru thinks that he's God, which shows a certain detachment, but Buggy literally hears people say big red nose, even in sentences where the words big, red, or nose do not appear. So he's also a little bit weird in that way.
Man, can we start a new segment called One Piece characters who need therapy? Because, like, Buggy, top of that list. Who else?
Bucky. I almost said Aiza, not Aiza. Eneru.
Eneru.
Wyper, he needs a stress
Eneru.
ball so
Wyper
hard.
doesn't need therapy. Wyper needs an anger management group that he meets with on a weekly basis.
He needs an older brother that every time he starts acting up, he just gets elbowed in the face by bigger Wyper, and he's just like, oh.
You have to be careful though, because I could see I don't think you'd want to introduce Wyper to a group setting too fast, because I could see him turning all these people who are naturally angry into an angry mob.
Oh, jeez.
Who did this to you? God did this to you.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, Wyper is the type who would get into it on the street with, like, a cop, and he would have to go to court-mandated therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he would be the sort of person that, like, you didn't see them and you accidentally merged in front of him and he got mad and he would, like, follow you to wherever you parked and then start yelling at you with the window rolled down, and he'd throw, like, a slushie at you. He'd be like, it was an accident, I'm sorry, man.
I think Nami could probably use some therapy just to, like, process the trauma of her mom and being a slave to fish people.
Didn't you find out... Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say, all of them probably need a little bit of therapy.
Yes. Didn't you find out something super interesting about the way that they handled Bellemere in the 4Kids version?
In the 4Kids version? I did. Oh, man, this was so funny. Okay.
Can this be a segment? Like, weird stuff that 4Kids did?
Sure. Yeah.
We've done enough of them, I feel like.
We've got a couple of segments now. We've got How Many Bellamy's, we've got Who Needs Therapy, and we've got What the Heck 4Kids. So, going into our What the Heck 4Kids segment, in the original, Bellamy was shot. Or not Bellamy. Bellemere was shot in front of Nami and Nojiko. In the 4Kids dub, that was too violent. So what they did is they imprisoned her for life, but they never showed Nami letting her out of jail. So she died in jail. She's still there.
So, but yeah. The logic tracks, like, we don't know where Bellemere went, but since we didn't see her get freed, it's just like...
Well, that would mean she's, like, alive somewhere.
No, she'd be dead in jail, because if she were alive, they would have freed her. Unless Nami's a really bad daughter.
I mean, I guess. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, she's either died in jail or Nami has, like, forgot.
Yeah. Either way, it's kind of dark.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's a great one.
I read an article that was like 50 dark secrets in One Piece that you didn't know about, and most of them were stupid. Like, they were explicitly things that they show in the manga, but that was one that I thought was pretty interesting.
Interesting. Okay.
Don't read clickbait, kids.
I think we're about winding up. We're getting close to the hour mark. We don't want these episodes to go out too long. I think we've touched on stuff that we like, stuff that we didn't like. I'm going to have one final parting thought. You are going to go out on Friday night. You're going to socialize or whatever. You're going to have fun, whatever that looks like. Who are you bringing along from either the Shandorians or Eneru's priests and his contingent? So who's going to be your drinking buddy? Who's going to come with you to the laser tag? Who's going to watch baseball with you? Like, who are you inviting?
Oh my god, can I play laser tag with Ohm?
Here's
the thing. I think he would be a huge bummer at first because he would be like, having fun is an earthly desire and blah. But I think he'd get really into it. And I think by the end of the night, he'd be having a good time. You could take him to the arcade and he'd win like a big teddy bear and he'd have cotton candy in his other hand. Oh, that sounds so great.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry, so it was either the Shandorians or who?
Or the priests.
Or anyone from Eneru's contingent. So it could be Eneru himself. It could be the divine leader Yama, the big guy.
I would not want to go drinking with Eneru because I feel like he would party too hard for me. I think I would, like, literally die.
Yeah, he would not be your friend. He would not make sure that you got home safe. He would just be like, oh, if they were strong enough, they'd be able to protect themselves.
Yeah, he'd be the type that everybody who, like, went out partying with him would be just wrecked the next day and have, like, tattoos.
And he'd be fine. He'd be like, hey, who wants to get morning mimosas?
Do you have anyone that you can think of? Unfortunately, all of the Shandorians
suck.
What? Yeah, a little bit. How would you like to be out drinking with Satori? How would you like to have Satori as your wingman? He floats over on a ball to some pretty lady and just like, oh, do you want to see what's in my surprise bowl? It's Curtis. Then you come out of the clouds.
Oh my god, I've been in there all night. No, you know what? I think I would want to go out with all of the Shandorians minus Wyper.
Okay.
I feel like they would be a fun group to go hang out with.
Without the bad
Without
influence.
Wyper, yeah. With Wyper there, it would just be like, everyone would have a good time, and you have this one grumpy guy in the corner. It's like, everyone would be like, hey, Wyper, why don't you have a drink? And he'd be like, grow, 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 my homeland, grow, grow, grow. And you'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, that's sad. And just kind of like, go back to your thing.
Yeah. I mean, I asked this question kind of thinking it would lead to some interesting discussions, but like I despise Gidatsu and Satori like a lot. And Shura's barely in the show. He gets taken out so quickly, and Ohm's also kind of like a deadpan, like no fun having guy.
Yeah.
I mean, like maybe Kamakiri or Loki, maybe, but I don't really know enough about them to.
Loki would be the mom friend. Like she would be constantly worried, like, oh, should we be staying out so late? I think maybe we should get home. You have work in the morning. And you'd be like, let me have fun, Loki.
Hey, it's a Friday night. I don't have to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah. Joel, how's your blood sugar doing? It's fine. I checked it just 10 minutes ago. We are good. All right. And that has been your
Final thought. Outro goes here.
Luffy, pirate tip. Don't get eaten. When you get eaten, you miss out on all the fun. I wanted to punch God.
So ends the next leg of the King of the What Now adventure. We're sad to see you go, but we'll be here next week. If you crave some social interaction with us in the meantime, you can find us on all sorts of different media. We have Gmail, Patreon, and Tumblr. All of those are King of the What Pod. King of the What Pod at gmail.com, patreon.com/King of the What Pod. KingOfTheWhatPod.tumblr.com. Our Twitter handlers are a little bit different. You can reach me at KOTWN_pod.
And you can contact me, Curtis, at Pirate Co-host. Also, please take a moment to rate and review our podcast on whatever platform you're using to listen. Not only will this help others find the podcast, but your constructive feedback will help us improve the show as we go.
Thanks so much for giving us a listen. Until next time, follow your dreams and protect your treasure.
Remember, it doesn't need to be literal treasure.